Hello everyone, welcome to my update US gossip channel. Meri Brown steps into a courtroom ready to expose everything she's been holding in for nearly a decade. Cameras weren't allowed inside, but word spread like wildfire from courthouse whispers to online fan forums. Meri Brown had finally broken her silence about the truth behind her split from Kody, her one-time spiritual husband, and the woman she'd once called a sister wife, Robyn Brown. According to insiders close to the family, the courtroom was electric with tension the moment Meri entered, dressed in a dark tailored blazer, her blonde hair pinned back in a no-nonsense twist, and a thick folder clutched to her chest like it held the last remnants of her dignity. In that folder, she reportedly had the documents that could rewrite the entire sister wives' timeline, proof of a secret Vegas vault that Kody and Robyn had allegedly maintained since their early Las Vegas days, containing property records, old financial transfers, and what Meri later called a paper trail of betrayal. The courtroom fell silent as Meri's attorney stood and said the words that would change everything. "Your Honor, this case isn't just about money or fame. It's about deception, the kind that tears families apart on national television." From that moment on, it was clear that Meri wasn't there for sympathy, she was there for truth. For years, Sister Wives fans watched as Meri's role in the family faded into the background, her once confident smile dimming episode after episode while Robyn seemed to grow more central to Kody's world. Many thought Meri had simply accepted her fate, quietly retreating to her bed and breakfast in Parowan, Utah, while the rest of the family's drama played out around Coyote Pass. But that illusion shattered when the court documents revealed something deeper, that Meri had, in fact, been quietly collecting evidence of financial inconsistencies tied to a so-called family account that Kody had always insisted was shared among all four wives. What she discovered, according to her lawyer's statement, was that after Kody legally divorced her in 2014 to marry Robyn and adopt Robyn's children, a second secret legal agreement was allegedly drawn up in Nevada, one that transferred certain shared assets entirely under Kody and Robyn's control. When Meri's attorney produced a notarized file referencing Vault 67, a private deposit box registered under Kody Brown's business alias, the judge reportedly froze mid-note, his pen dangling in midair as he asked for clarification. "Are you telling me there's a literal vault in Las Vegas tied to this family?" the judge asked, incredulous. The courtroom murmured. Meri nodded, her voice low but firm. "Yes, Your Honor. And it holds everything they didn't want the world, or the other wives, to see." The so-called Vegas vault quickly became the most explosive phrase in Sister Wives history. According to the revelations, during their time in Las Vegas, when the family moved into their famous cul-de-sac of 4 houses, Kody and Robyn had reportedly created a separate business entity under the guise of managing the family's finances. While Janelle handled real estate and Christine managed household budgets, Kody and Robyn allegedly began funneling funds into this side account, later securing a physical vault for documents, jewelry, and recordings, items that Meri claims she only learned about after overhearing a phone conversation between Robyn and Kody one late night during filming. Meri's testimony described how she had walked into the kitchen for water and caught Robyn whispering about the vault and keeping the originals in Vegas just in case TLC ever asks questions. That night, Meri later said, she realized she'd never truly been a partner, just a placeholder in Kody's public image. "I thought the divorce was just paperwork," Meri told the court, according to an inside source. "Kody told me it was about adoption, about doing something selfless. I didn't realize he'd already decided that Robyn wasn't just the legal wife, she was the only wife." In the courtroom, Kody sat stiffly beside Robyn, both of them dressed in dark colors and avoiding Meri's gaze. Robyn appeared on the verge of tears, occasionally whispering to Kody, who clenched his jaw as the details unfolded. When Meri's attorney produced bank statements showing thousands of dollars in consulting fees that appeared to go directly from TLC production stipends to the Vegas vault account, gasps filled the courtroom. Those funds, the attorney said, were meant to be distributed evenly among the wives, yet these transfers indicate that Kody and Robyn controlled them exclusively. Kody's attorney objected, claiming the statements were taken out of context, but the judge overruled. It was clear even he was intrigued by the growing pile of evidence. The courtroom was silent except for the shuffle of papers and the faint hum of cameras from reporters outside. Then came the biggest shock of all, the fake divorce bombshell. For years, fans knew Kody and Meri divorced legally so that Kody could adopt Robyn's kids. It was a public storyline on the show, presented as a noble act of love and unity. But according to Meri's testimony, the legal divorce paperwork may have included clauses that went far beyond what the show revealed. In what she called a betrayal disguised as a favor, Meri claimed that she discovered an unsigned draft version of the divorce agreement in which Kody's legal team outlined not only the transfer of spousal status but also a section that would allow Kody to retroactively nullify Meri's financial stake in any Brown family business ventures. "I didn't sign that version," Meri explained through tears, "but somehow, when I got the final paperwork months later, the language was subtly changed." She accused Robyn of being part of the process, alleging that Robyn, who had worked as Kody's personal assistant during that period, helped manage the exchange of documents and mail. "I trusted her," Meri said, visibly emotional. "I thought she was my friend. She told me she'd help me make sure everything was fair. But she knew." That line, witnesses say, made Robyn break into tears in court, shaking her head, whispering that's not true while Kody gripped her hand, his face turning red. The judge, clearly struggling to keep order as emotions flared, asked to see the documents for himself. As he reviewed them, his brows furrowed. "These signatures don't match perfectly," he said slowly. "Are you suggesting there may have been document tampering?" Meri's attorney nodded. "We believe so, Your Honor. And the originals, or copies that prove this, are likely stored in the Vegas vault." The revelation left the courtroom buzzing. The judge ordered an immediate request for verification of the vault's contents, and within days, court-appointed investigators located the storage unit in Henderson, Nevada, registered under an LLC connected to Robyn's former business address. Inside were boxes of old contracts, handwritten notes, cash bundles wrapped in rubber bands, and a small safe labeled 2014 to 2016 legal files. The discovery alone was enough to send shockwaves through the sister wives community online, sparking hashtags like #VaultGate and #FakeDivorceTruth across social media. Back in court, Kody and Robyn's lawyers argued that the vault was simply an old storage space used for family memorabilia and tax paperwork from their Las Vegas years, not evidence of deceit. But Meri's team pressed on, citing that many of the documents inside had never been disclosed in financial filings related to the family's Coyote Pass properties. Fans who had followed every twist of the family's saga couldn't believe it. The man who had preached transparency and faith on camera was now being accused by his first wife of building an empire behind closed doors. "I loved that man," Meri said at one point, her voice trembling but resolute. "I believed in him. I believed in our family. But you can't build trust on secrets. And you can't build a family on lies." Even the judge, known for his calm demeanor, reportedly leaned back in his chair and sighed. "Mrs. Brown," he said gently, "this is one of the most complicated family cases I've ever seen." What followed was a whirlwind of testimony, depositions, and tense exchanges. Robyn broke down on the stand, insisting that she'd never intended to hurt Meri and that the vault was just a safety net for important documents they didn't want misplaced. "We were under so much pressure," she said, her voice cracking. "We had cameras, contracts, kids, taxes. I thought keeping things separate was protecting us." But Meri wasn't moved. "Protecting who?" she shot back, staring directly at Robyn. "Because it didn't protect me. It erased me." Kody, visibly frustrated, finally spoke up, his voice echoing through the courtroom. "This is all being twisted. We did what we had to do for our family. The divorce wasn't fake, it was legal, it was necessary, and Meri knew exactly what it meant." But his tone only made things worse. The judge reprimanded him for outbursts, warning that the proceedings weren't about emotions but evidence. Outside the courthouse, reporters shouted questions. "Kody, is it true you hid money in Vegas?" "Robyn, did you forge Meri's documents?" Neither responded, ducking into a waiting SUV as fans shouted their names. As the days stretched into weeks, the case became the talk of reality TV circles. Former Sister Wives producers were reportedly subpoenaed for testimony, with some confirming that certain financial details had been off-limits during filming at the family's request. One anonymous crew member allegedly told the court that he'd overheard Kody joke about Vegas being our safety net during a break in filming. "We all thought he was kidding," the crew member said, "but now I'm not so sure." Meanwhile, Meri's confidence seemed to grow with each passing day. She began smiling more in court, often walking in with her head held high, waving briefly to onlookers. Her supporters, many of whom had followed her since season 1, began showing up with signs reading Team Meri and "Truth always wins." Online, fans debated whether this was Meri's ultimate revenge or a necessary reckoning. Some sympathized with Robyn, saying she'd been manipulated by Kody's charisma and control. Others felt Robyn had always been part of the problem, the favored wife who benefited most from the family's downfall. In the final days of the trial, as both sides prepared for closing arguments,